This is Greg Vinson, editor of Top Producer, talking to Jeanne Bernick, our issues editor, about her recent story on carbon trading in the September issue of Top Producer called Inside the Carbon Market. Jeanne, you got three experts from the carbon trading world to talk about what are some of the misconceptions with carbon, and just tell us a little bit about why you came up with this story idea.
Well, despite the many articles we've written on this subject, we keep getting questions out and about from farmers who don't quite understand all the talk about selling carbon credits to offset greenhouse gases. And we thought, why not ask farmers the tough questions they really want to know and have them pose them to these experts? So it was really fun to have farmers send us their questions.
And all these questions in the article were directly from farmers?
Yes, they were. And they brought up questions that, even as journalists, we hadn't necessarily tackled. So, for example, one of the biggest questions that they brought up was, why do they need to sign up now? In other words, what if another climate exchange comes along later on that would pay them more money? And the answers were interesting in that, for example, many programs today are short-term. They're 4- and 5-year contracts. So a farmer can enroll now and then also enroll in a different program later. So it's really enlightening some of the questions and answers that were proposed in this story.
So with some of the questions you were receiving from the farmers, what was the biggest surprise you learned from the questions that were asked?
Well, one of the biggest surprises is a lot of farmers didn't think that Congress was this close to passing climate legislation, and all of the experts agreed that climate change legislation will be passed into law. Many of them think by the end of 2009, and almost all of them agree by 2012. So, in other words, it's coming, and they all agree it's coming, so farmers really need to pay attention and kind of begin to figure out for themselves if this carbon market is something that they can benefit from.
And is this something that most farmers can benefit from?
It's certainly something that they can benefit from if they are using environmental practices that sequester more carbon already. A lot of it depends on location, and a lot of it depends on soil type. And this is where you really need to dig in and start looking for the resources in your area. But there is money that can be found and can be had, and it's better to get in on the front end where they're actually going ahead and paying the early adopters than to wait a couple years and say, ooh, I wish I'd done that.
Okay, that's Jeanne Bernick, the issues editor for Top Producer. Thanks, Jeanne.